When in Cuba,
Like this,
do
like
it
he's
Cuba.
doing.
Good rum?
And in that way he said
Cuban
that he
cigar. Alright, in the following video, I went to Cuba with my wife and some friends, and we took an excursion, went around town, and did some crazy things, but I want to kind of give some of y'all an idea what Cuba is like. That's why we went. We've never been there. Communist country. Want to kind of see how they live, what's going on. And this video will give you a little bit of that. Some of it might be a little slow because I did some of the tour guide talking about some of the history in the area and all. But you can fast forward that if you don't want to hear it. Some people might like that. But anyway, check this out right here. We're going to Cuba. All right, we have arrived in Havana, Cuba. Check it out. We'll take a quick little, you can notice a little bit right now. There's a lighthouse way down there. And here's the harbor. We're getting ready to head out right now. Stay tuned.
Next. Okay, my friends, once again, welcome to Havana. Is this your first experience in Cuba? Yes. That's good. Did you know that next November, Havana will be celebrating 500 years founded? Wow. So there is a big celebration coming up, and there is a lot of work trying to get the city ready for that big celebration. So here we are in Old Havana district. Havana city, the capital of Cuba, is divided into 15 districts. This is Old Havana and the historical center of Havana and all the forts built by the Spanish during the colonial period. I mean 17th, 18th, 19th century, they were included in the list of the World Heritage Site by the UNESCO. So we have a master plan led by Eusebio Leal, the historian of the city, for the restoration of the historical center. But unfortunately, later we are going to be in the bus and we are going to see other sections of the city, and you are going to realize that not only the historical center, but the whole city needs to be restored. For many years, before the 90s, when the tourism became the main industry in Cuba, so the government, they didn't pay too much attention to the restoration. In Cuba, when we live in one of the apartment buildings, each family has the property of the apartment where they live, but no one is the owner of the building, it's the government. So we have to wait that they have the intention, that they have the budget to do the restoration. One of the most difficult problems in Cuba is the housing problems. So for many years we were not allowed to buy or sell houses, only to trade. Now it's possible since 2008 when Raúl Castro became the president of Cuba. But that is a problem that was accumulated for years. Let me tell you that most of the Cubans will live with 2, 3, sometimes 4 generations in the same house. That's the reason why the Cubans always, they are talking, they are making jokes about the mothers-in-law, because we have to live with. I don't have that problem with mine, but anyway, it's a big problem here in Cuba. Of the Spanish, of the general government of Cuba in the times of the Spanish. And after the Cuban-American-Spanish War, when the Americans came together with the Cubans to defeat the Spanish, to put them out, the last battle took place in the harbor of Santiago. Ted Roosevelt was here. Maybe some of you remember the famous San Juan Hill. Have you ever heard about San Juan Hill? Yeah. So then the Spanish, they were put out by the Cubans and the Americans. The transfer of the power from the Spanish to the Americans happened also in that building. And where you can see the flag, up there, the Cuban flag, that was the first place where the American flag flew here in Cuba. Okay? So the statue that we have here in the center of the square, Carlos Manuel de Céspedes, he was a criollo. We call criollo the children of the Spanish born here in Cuba. And he had many slaves at the eastern part of the island. On October 10, 1868, he called his slaves for the last time and he set them free. He told them, you can go to the mountains if you like, or you can join me to fight for the independence of Cuba. He's known in Cuba as the father of the homeland. If you read there, it's written A to Carlos Manuel de Céspedes, Padre de la Patria, father of the homeland. Because during that first revolution that he began against the Spanish, one of his sons, Oscar, was captured by the Spanish. And then they tried to negotiate with him. So we have your son. Are you going to stop this revolution or what? And he answered, sorry, but Oscar is not my only child. All the Cubans fighting for the independence are my children. From that day, he's known as the father of the homeland. If you look at the central promenade that we have here, in the shape of a cross, dividing the square in each corner into small replicas of the square itself. Look here, for example, this corner. The four corners, they are the same, little replicas of the square. We have the fountain, replacing the statue. We have the royal palm tree, our national trees. They are our national trees. And from those trees at the countryside, the farmers, they build the traditional houses of the farmers that we call bohíos. From the trunk, they do the walls. Look at the trunk, looks like cement. From the leaves, they do the roof. And the fruit that you can see up there, we call them palmiches, also used by the farmers to feed their pigs. And we have the ceiba tree back there, or kapok tree, that is sacred tree in the Afro-Cuban religion, or Santeria, because it's very similar to baobab. When the Africans were brought by the Spanish here, they were looking for baobab that they knew in Africa, but in Cuba we don't grow baobab in the Caribbean. That's why, as that tree is very similar, immediately they used that tree as sacred tree. American companies, because they wanted to build casinos to join Havana with Varadero, the most famous Cuban beach. So the first idea of something like Las Vegas, my friends, was here in Havana. But all those projects, they were gone after 1959, after the triumph of the revolution. So now we are going to visit the largest fort. So there you are going to have a nice view on the city, and especially we are going to visit the specialized store where you are going to see you are going to see the longest cigar in the world that you have ever seen. If we are lucky, the roller is going to be there and you can take picture with him. 65, here you can see that you have the same wrap. Normally it's more than 100 cook, and this is a special offer. So you can see that are the same rata, the most important but different shape, you see? So remember, that is what we call la pintura. Behind you can see all the Cuban rum. The white rum, I remind you, that is too mixed to prepare mojitos, daiquiris, or even to do any kind of cocktail. The white rum. And the rum that was aged, like this one, or the one that you can find there, is to drink like whiskey. Okay? Normally we don't mix a rum that was aged for 15, 20 years. Okay? And also they have also the Cuban coffee. We grow coffee on the mountains, especially the eastern part of the island. So they have they have the coffee beans. They have the coffee beans and also the ground coffee. Okay? Also something really important about So there you can see planes, trucks used during the times of the revolution. Look at the red truck where you can read fast delivery. You can see some bullet holes because when this building was the presidential palace, a group of revolutionaries, they came hidden in that truck and they organized a daring assault to the presidential palace trying to reach Batista, but he fled. That's why you could see the bullet holes. And now behind the trees you can see, surrounded by the glass panels, that is the original Grandma yacht in which Fidel, Raúl, Che Guevara, 82 expeditionaries, they came back from Mexico to Cuba to resume the national liberation war against Batista. So that is the building, built between 19...